Hello, patriots and liberals, as MCAG would say. Anyway, I've got some massive news to tell you guys about new liberal policy. Just take a look at this. They want by 2035 all car dealerships to be selling EV cars, electrical vehicles. Just take a look at this. And next year, in less than 5 months, they want 20% of all car dealers. No, they want car dealers to sell 20% of electric cars. This is crazy. Take a look at this.
The federal government has unveiled its roadmap to phase out the sale of gas and diesel passenger vehicles. After 2035, you won't be able to buy new ones anymore.
In less than 6 months, the government will introduce their EV mandate. The Liberal government is going to mandate what kind of cars you can buy. And eventually, the sale of petrol cars will be illegal, taking away your right to buy gas and diesel cars.
All new light-duty vehicle sales in Canada to be electric or plug-in hybrid by 2035. This includes the interim goals along the way, beginning with 20% of all new vehicle sales be EVs by 2026.
So the Liberals are forcing car dealerships to be selling 20% electrical vehicles in 2026. So in less than 5 months away, the Liberal government will make car dealers sell 20% electric cars. And then by 2035, they want 100% of all car dealerships to be selling electric cars. 100%. And let's say Canadians don't want to buy electric cars or they can't afford to buy electric cars, then what will happen? Well, the government found a way across this that these car dealerships will need to buy credits from other EVs. So, and what's the biggest EV manufacturer? Tesla. So they will be buying credits for Tesla, subsidizing Elon Musk's Tesla cars. This is their plan. Just take a look at it. They're buying, if they can't meet the 20% threshold, they need to buy credits from other car dealers. If you're old enough, remember the first time you had a car. It's about the freedom. It's about the freedom to go anywhere you want. And it's lovely. But then the Liberal government comes along and takes that freedom away from you. Because with petrol cars, you can go further away distance before refilling up than you do with electric cars. Electric cars, you need to recharge it very often. With petrol cars, you can go without needing to refuel. Plus, with electric cars, you need to mine the lithium, and all the lithium mining, it produces CO2. Plus, there's all these slaves in Africa. There's many, no one ever talks about them, mining all this lithium for the electric cars. It's so environmentally unsafe and so environmentally damaging. And the Liberals want to take the freedom of you going anywhere you want with your car away. Canada has 60,000 electric charging ports. The news and experts say Canada needs 700,000 electric charging points if they want to hit that 100% target by 2035. So they need to build at least 11% more. They need to know 11 times more. The Liberals have no budget for that and they have no plan for that. I mean, they have ridiculous laws. They also have this ridiculous they want to ban plastic. They want to ban plastic. So, okay, you can get your sandwiches in the supermarket in metal containers. As Justin Trudeau said, he likes to drink water bottles out of paper. That's his way to cut down on plastic. This is ridiculous. So how will the local Canadians buy their weed as they legalize that? Will they have it in like metal containers or paper containers? It's silly. At least we're going to have paper water bottles. But back to the EV. Tesla's going to have so much subsidies and we need to build 11 times more electric charging stations. We have 60,000, we need 700,000. Liberals, no plan, no budget, and they don't talk about that bit. Where will that money come from? the taxpayer. And Canadians don't want EV cars.
This is a very big country. People use their car a lot to go from one city to the other. That's why I asked you about charging stations. So you will have to accompany this ambitious 20% by 2026 with a huge infrastructure across the country, even in remote areas.
Absolutely. And I don't personally own a vehicle. I've never owned one, but my service vehicle as minister is 100% electric vehicle. So I totally understand what some of the challenges are. I'm living it.
We're 5 months away from this mandate, and
there's currently no plan to build them. There's no budget, there's no timeline, none, zero, zilch.
What about the support though for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill and no.
I mean, do we need support for gas stations? We don't. So there's no need for this for support for a charging network. I would delete it. Delete.
Okay. All right.
I'm literally saying get rid of all subsidies. I mean, when we started Tesla, there were no EV subsidies at all, and gasoline was super cheap. We did not anticipate any subsidies. That came later, and I would just say just delete them all.
The new electric vehicle availability standard now includes an early credit system to help automakers comply by encouraging them to get more EVs on the market as early as possible and even next year, and to build more charging infrastructure.
So let's just go through this one more time. That let's say car dealerships only sell about 10% EVs. They need to buy that other 10% from other companies that sell more than 20% EV cars. That's Tesla. They're going to be buying all these credits from Tesla, subsidizing Elon Musk. And the government will fine you $20,000 if you don't comply with these. And guess how much the credits will be worth? $20,000. You're losing out. And the Canadian government is saying we're doing this because there's a electric car shortage and and stuff like that. Not the case. Canadians can go out and buy electric cars if you want. It's all about control. What happens if Canadians either don't want or can't afford electric cars? Well, welcome to Cuba. For similar or different reasons, people still drive their old 50s, 60s, 70s cars because it's too expensive or they can't buy normal cars. They can't buy cars anymore. So you see Cubans driving these really, really old cars, and they don't buy a new one when it breaks down. They just mend it. So you can see in Canada in a few years' time, not asking how many miles is on a car, just asking how many repairs the car has done. This is Canada in a few years, driving cars from decades ago. Plus, the literal Canadian car news, or news around cars in Canada, literally say electric cars work 40% less in -5 to 7 degree weather. And if you know Canada, even in the spring, but in the winter, it gets to -40. Even more. Didn't the Liberals think that through? Here it literally is. They lose 40% of their range. CAA fines. And if you know Canada, you know it gets to horrendous -degree weathers. It gets really cold. Electric cars cannot survive.
It was -41, an all-time record for that day. And the wind chill, I'm not even embellishing this with a wind chill. I could make it even worse. It was -51. I could make it even worse. It was -51.
EVs are quickly reaching cost parity with their gas-powered alternatives. That's because the electricity you buy to power your electric vehicle is much cheaper than gasoline and not subject to the volatility of international oil prices.
Well, let's just touch on this subject for a second, what Stephen Guilbeault said. Yes, Stephen Guilbeault, the one that got arrested multiple times for his radical green agenda. He should really join the Green Party. Anyway, nearly a third of all petrol in Canada are taxes the government collects. So if they want 100% electric cars, they won't just kiss goodbye to that tax. they will tax you, they will tax the electricity to charge up these cars. They're going to tax you otherwise. Look, they brought in a carbon tax. They're going to bring in massive taxes on the electrical side of things if you want to charge your car. So why is Mark Carbon Tax currently going along with Justin Trudeau's radical green agenda of this? Should I tell you why? Because Mark Carney was the chair of Brookfield, and what does Brookfield invest in? These EV industries. So when he invests in them, he gets a big paycheck. Brookfield gets lots and lots of money, which maybe he can keep because he does tax evasion in Bermuda. Watch this. This is very carefully worded, but watch what Mark Carney says, how he invests in companies to get more money back.
I do spend some time advising on what, again, pro bono, but advising on the types of policies that are going to have maximum impacts. So the question is, are we going to have green, sustainable aviation fuel? What's happened in the UK, the EU, is they've said to major airlines, look, if you're flying in and out of Heathrow or wherever, you have to have 10% of your load has to be sustainable aviation fuel by, I think it's 2030. Consequence of that policy has been to convert some entrepreneurs in Texas, in this case a company called Infineon, to become economic, because all of a sudden American Airlines, British Airways need to buy that fuel. They'll pay a green premium. In that case, we Brookfield put $1 billion to work there, and it's a fantastic opportunity.
We need to fight against this, Canadians. My fellow Canadians, we need to fight against this. Thank you for watching until the end. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Remember, Mark Carney isn't only in it for himself. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. See you in the next one.